What's up, everybody?
All right. What's up, everybody? Hopefully, hopefully it's not too late for you. I wanted to finish something I started on Monday. It was the narcissistic man and the poisonous woman. So on Monday we talked a lot about the narcissistic man. I don't want to revisit the narcissistic man primarily because you can always go on replay. It's on my page. It's on YouTube. It's Terrence Pickett's Coffee Time on YouTube, and then it's also on Facebook. So any information that you want in as it relates to the narcissistic man, you're more than happy to go watch the replay. Here's what I will say about the narcissistic man. He's a dangerous dude. He's he's a when I say a dangerous dude, he's a dangerous dude. And if you ever get caught up with a narcissistic man, you can hang it up for life. Here's why. They're never going to accept responsibility. They're never going to be able to lead you correctly. And you're going to always be the reason for all of their issues and problems. So, my advice to you, on Monday we talked about the characteristics, the traits. We went through each one of them. Well, not all of them, but we went through about, let's say, a good 15. And we carefully outlined them on Monday to give you more insight on what he looks like. I'm going to say this before I start talking about the poisonous woman. It is nothing wrong with a man or woman caring about how they look. I think we should. Come on. I think all of us should care or be concerned about our appearance. But when your appearance becomes the image that is uplifted and it becomes higher than anything else, um, now we have a problem. So you can go back and check out the narcissistic man. I want to talk about tonight the poisonous woman. The poi- the poisonous woman. Um, so let me start off by saying um men fall in the lap of poisonous women all the time, primarily because men are driven by what they see. Men are hunters, and as a result of being a hunter, we are visually stimulated. Ladies, I'm gonna give you some insight. I'm gonna give you some insight on the man on tonight. So if you know some ladies who were having a hard time trying to figure out who they're with, you need to tune in. If you know some women that you think are dangerous for your son, your cousin, your sister, your brother, I'm going to give you some information to understand that as well. So do me a favor, invite somebody, share. Um, I want to say good evening to everybody. If I'm not acknowledging you, it's because I can't see you. But good evening. Um, so when we talk about the poisonous woman, the first thing that I want to say in regards to the poisonous woman is the poisonous woman always have ill intent. She's almost the mirror or the twin to the narcissistic man. Tina White McPherson, good evening. Rhonda Oliver, good evening. Barbara Gray, good evening. Pretty Black, good evening. Let me say that again. The poisonous woman is almost the mirror or the twin to the narcissistic man because she has elevated herself. She's a self pleaser, and everything that she does is attached to her gain. So let me share Proverbs 5 and 6. Proverbs 5 and 6. Um, I thought I had it. Proverbs 5. Let's start with verse 1. This is awesome to me. Verse 1 says, "My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge." Listen to verse 3. "For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell, lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them." Verse 7, "Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house, lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel." So let's talk about this poisonous woman. Again, she's the mirror of the twin to the narcissistic man. Everything that she does is for gain. Now, I know you ladies, sisters, this is not for everybody. Just like the narcissistic man wasn't for everybody. But I do believe that all of us need to be educated for our sons, our brothers, our fathers. There are a lot of people whose spouses have gone on, they transitioned, they're looking to remarry. There are men that are looking to get married. There are men looking to remarry. And there is a way that seems right to man, but at the end of it, there's destruction. So I want you all to pay close attention to some of the things I'm going to say on tonight in regards to the poisonous woman. So the poisonous woman is not someone that you would want to befriend. All right. I'm going to give you all something tonight, ladies. I got to say it. I've got to. A man can tell a desperate woman. A man can tell when a woman is going through the change. And men can tell when there's a major life change. Let me give you the first thing that women do when there's a major life change. And I've got a couple of announcements that I'm going to go over with you as well. So one of the things in a major life change, when a woman goes to changing her hair, changing her look, getting in the gym, most times she is seeking to change the image of herself. Whoever she's been attached to, that she is no longer with, she not only wants to leave that part of her, bury that part of her, but she wants to transform. And this new mindset, this new level of freedom, she wants her body to match. Where it starts to get sticky with the poisonous woman is, why does she do what she do? So it's intent. I hope y'all with me. It's intent. Let me give you an example of intent. You've taken 143,000 photos and placed them on social media, showing every side of you. You know, you want to turn to the side. You want to take pictures to the side, because there is something you're selling, and it ain't your pictures. It's not. You're selling the space so that you can buy attention. Because men are egotistical and women tend to be more emotional. When a man is going through the change, he unplugs, but a woman plugs in. Uh, she's driven by these emotions to be better or to prove, or she's driven by the notion to become what is needed to build a platform for people to see her. Now, this is not in every case, there's an exception to every rule. When a woman goes to changing a name on social media, she'll drop the last name and just carry either her first and middle name, or she'll create a name. It's all a part of her separating herself from a previous relationship, from a marriage. She wants to change everything. She starts showing a little cleavage. She starts showing her shape more. She starts to wear clothes that fit better or more. She gets into the gym. She becomes a health nut because let me tell you what the mind does to us, okay? Our mind needs a place to channel and funnel energy that we used to use in other things. Let me give you an opportunity. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If a woman was married and she's given herself to her children as well as to her husband, this is not in every case, but generally speaking, if a woman was married, she's given herself to her children and her husband, she's no longer married anymore. She's got to find something to do. Then what she's going to do is she's going to rebuild that body to channel the energy that she once had for her family. She's got to place that energy somewhere, so she uses it to rebuild her body. Now, as much as you would like to believe that she's doing this, well, she wants to be healthy now. No, that ain't the only reason she's doing it. She's doing it because she's seeking attention. She's seeking to channel energy, and she's seeking attention. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, for man was not created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For man was created for the glory of God. The glory of the man is the woman, and the glory of the woman is her hair. Now that's New Testament. Let me just break down in short what it's talking about. So the glory of the man is the woman. A woman is a man's pride. Now, I'm talking about how it should be. A woman is a man's pride. A man, when he loves a woman, he does for the woman because his pride is in that woman. Wherever a man's pride is, that's what he's going to feed. Now, a man's pride builds his ego. This is why men are hunters and they hunt what they like. We are sight driven. We're driven by what we see. So the man's choice of a woman will tell you where his pride has been hid. Ladies, I'm trying to help y'all out, put you on game, teach you some stuff here. A man's choice of a woman is going to tell you exactly where his pride has been hid. Let me give you an example. Most men, a lot of men who care about themselves, a man who is given to how he looks, a man who's given to his appearance, a man who is given to intellect, a man that is given to God. He's looking to find all those things that he likes in himself in her. A man generally chooses what he sees in himself. Because, listen to this, a man wants to be equally yoked. A man wants to be equally yoked. A man desires what's in his heart. Now, there's a scripture that says, out of the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak it. Listen to a man when he talks about a woman. And there are some very derogatory things that men have said about women. I can guarantee you those derogatory things that a man is speaking in regards to a woman, that is what he feels about himself. So whenever you're dealing with a broken man, a man whose innocence has been touched, the wrong fingerprints have been on his soul, maybe he's been abused, maybe he's been raped, maybe he's been sexually molested by a male or female, his view of a woman is now distorted because his soul has been changed and he's seeing through the lenses that is broken. It's impossible to see whole when the lens is broken. Now, I know you're trying to figure out. Now, what does that got to do with a poisonous woman? It has everything to do with a poisonous woman. Let me tell you why. So a man that's been abused, creation began in the man. So we can't talk about a broken woman, a poisonous woman, unless we deal with her daddy, her granddaddy. Because creation began, life began in the loins of a man. It's what's inside the man that determines the gender of a child. So the reason there's so many broken men, the reason there are so many broken women, the reason there are so many narcissistic men, and there are so many poisonous women is that the houses that they come from are broken. The father's house is broken. It's about to get ugly. So a broken man cannot teach a whole woman. And a poisonous woman cannot teach a child. Let me say it this way. Everything that is in us, okay? Everything that's in us, we give to our kids, whether you know it or not, whether it's good or bad. Your kids, your children eat from the well. They drink from the well of your heart. Whatever is overflowing outside of you is what they're going to pick up. And I know we think as adults we're smart and we can hide stuff from little Johnny and we can hide stuff from Lil Red and Pookie and we can hide stuff from Nick and Nunu. But let me tell you something, just like you have intuition, so do those kids. And the kids' intuition or discernment is sharper than yours because they haven't had time to coach their soul to be phony. They've not had time to adopt the ways of a phony lifestyle. Generally, the way that a child sees something, that is the way they're going to say it. I've got a little cousin that saw a lesbian, and at the time she saw her, she was about 5. And, kids have no filter, again, because they've not learned how to be phony. And while we are embarrassed by some of the things that they say, They don't have a filter or phony to hide behind, so they're going to say whatever they think. And my little cousin looked at the lesbian, and then she looked at her mama. She looked at the lesbian, then she looked at her mama. She looked at the lesbian. She kept looking at the lesbian. She looked up at the lesbian. She looked down at the lesbian, looked back up. And she said to the lesbian, she said, now, is you a man or is you a boy? No, she said, is you a man or is you a woman? She was confused. Something in that child saw the feminine attributes of that woman, but something in that child saw the masculinity in that woman. And she was caught in between two places. She couldn't figure it out. So she asked that girl, is you a man or is you a woman? Now listen to this. Ooh, I'm going, and I don't want to get into the lesbianism or the homosexuality. I don't want to get into that, but I've got to say this. I do believe with all my heart, when people say they are born gay, I believe they are. Now let me give you my case in point, because it's going to take us down this trail while I'm trying to get talking and dealing with the poisonous woman. The reason I believe people are born gay is a lot of times that, let's talk from the clinical side. What is it? The Y chromosome is the woman. Am I correct in that? Let's just say the Y chromosome is the woman until somebody corrects me. If the Y chromosome, more the Y defines your femininity, then the X defines your masculinity, and you can be born with more than the other. You can be a man and have more Y chromosomes than the average man, which is going to make you more feminine than the average man because you have more. And I do believe, clinically speaking, that having more Y as a man than X triggers or alerts your hormones to desire what women desire. If you're born with both parts, that's the hermaphrodites. A woman can be born with more X than Y. So she's more masculine than the typical woman. So her desires match that of a man. Now, when it starts talking about the cravings of a man to a man and a woman to a woman, let me tell you something. I believe in the same way, to a certain degree, that favor is assigned to us. It's given by God. I also believe I didn't teach my kids. My kids, when they were small, they used to have temper tantrums. Both of them used to fall out in the middle of the floor. I don't know where they got that from, because we were not allowed to do that. But what was amazing is to see my son fall out in the floor. Some 2.5 years later, my daughter is born. She's doing the same thing my son did. What does that say? That says whatever is causing that behavior is in her blood. It's in her blood. The same blood that is in my son is in my daughter. No one taught them how to fall out in the floor, have a temper tantrum. They developed it on their own because of their blood. So by the same as it relates to homosexuality, lesbianism, there can be tainted blood. All of us come from poisonous blood because of the sin of Adam. So this is why you got little kids who've never been exposed to anything, but they evil. It's like you should have named them little Lucifer, little Satan, because they are so evil. You have kids who kill their parents. There was a 6-year-old who shot, then cut off his mother's head. That ain't learned. That's in that blood. So in the same way, I believe kids are born evil. You can have people that are born liking the same gender. Now, I don't believe God created us that way, but the sickness of man is in the blood. This is why church folk don't even know this, but they sing it all the time. This is why Jesus had to give his blood, because it was the blood of humanity that had been tainted and caused him to become a prisoner of sin. When the blood is tainted, every organ in the body is tainted. I was just telling a friend of mine tonight, this new thing that God has me in, it's new to me. It's not new to him. When I was in the hospital, they told me if I didn't have this procedure, I was going to die. And what they were saying is, hey, there's infection in your body, and if this infection gets into your blood and your blood runs through all of your organs, you're going to die. Because the life of the flesh is in the blood. Your life, the oxygen. If your blood doesn't have enough oxygen, if the oxygen levels on your blood are off, you're going to die. A-Train. Y'all know my little son, A-Train? Y'all know it. Come on, you know Daddy, little man. A-Train was in the hospital. His wife sent him to the hospital. He had COVID. And the only reason I'm telling this because he told it. All right. But he had COVID, and his wife looked at him. He didn't look right. And she practically begged the old hard-headed Negro to go to the doctor. He finally went to the doctor. When he got to the doctor, they basically told him, had you not got here when you did, you would be dead because there's not enough oxygen in your blood. So they had to give him something to balance the blood off. So listen. The blood, if the blood is tainted, it's the blood that determines the behavior and the character of individuals. Now, the blood that is in you, you didn't create that blood. That blood came from your mama and it came from your daddy. The blood that they have came from their mama and their daddy. And when you got generations of curses and generations of tainted blood running through your vein, wherever that blood falls on your desire is going to determine your weakness. Now add to tainted blood abuse. Add to that tainted blood rape, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. You add all that stuff to that tainted blood. This is why people aren't in their right mind and they're making decisions based on where they are, and the mind has been turned. Clinically speaking, the indention on the brain that comes from trauma, your brain does not know the difference between heart trauma and physical trauma. The indention on the brain is the same, no matter whether it's heart, psychological, or physical. There's an indention that happens on your brain. So when your brain is not healthy, it's not whole, and your blood is tainted, this is where mental illness starts to react as a result of the indention on the brain. So we're sick more ways than one. We're sin sick, then we're physically sick. So if the blood is tainted, and none of you can argue tainted blood, because all of us have habits that we were born with. Now, well, how do you become three? And I'm headed to the poisonous woman. If the blood is tainted, sometimes it's that blood with abuse, with neglect, coupled with insecurity that causes pride to be birthed. When pride reaches its highest form, that's when narcissism, which is a poisonous man, begins to take over that person. And with a woman, with that same pride, tainted blood, abuse, all that stuff mixed together, that woman becomes poisonous. It's all about her controlling men. Proverbs says her lips are as honey, and it says her words are smoother than grease. So the poisonous woman can't be anybody. The poisonous woman can't be a woman that has issues and issues alone. The poisonous woman is not only a woman that has issues, but she's also had time to craft her skill as to bringing men in her web. She's the master of seduction. And I believe some of this started in her blood. And that oxygen in tainted blood, she got perverted oxygen. Okay. You see these strippers and people that sell their body. They do things that go against human nature. They can let a man just feel all on them and it doesn't bother them. It's because a part of that mind has been ruined. A part of the mind has been damaged. And what they're supposed to feel, they don't feel. So this woman now uses her body as a token to gain an advantage over a man. And more often than not, it's not just to get his money, it's to get control. It's to have control over him. A poisonous woman is a woman who seeks control. Let's look at let's look at Proverbs. Let's look at Proverbs again. Pretty Black says, what causes, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this. Okay, but what causes the more Y chromosomes in the man? What was the cause of it? Why is that? So let me ask you this. I was born, let me see if I can show you this. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. See that bump right there? That's a bump. There's another bump. Well, those bumps are just bumps. I was born with 12 fingers. I was born with 12 fingers. What caused that? Humanity, as we know it, comes to earth with 10 fingers. Why did I have 12? One of my older sister she was born with 12 fingers as well. My mother was born with 12 fingers. I have cousins who were born, my great-grandmother, were born with 12. It's in the blood. We can't really, other than saying that man is sick because of sin. Sin distorted the blood. Sin tainted the blood. And that's why it took blood to make our blood clean. Lord have mercy. Because the life of the flesh is in the blood. Tainted blood yields to poisonous ways, and the body reacts to the blood. Why do you think we have allergies? Why do you think what makes us allergic? Why can't we eat certain things without having an allergic reaction? High blood pressure. There are people that are born with high blood pressure. They haven't even done nothing. Did you not know you have babies that are born addicted to crack? Why? Because crack is in their blood. That child haven't lived to make a decision. That child hasn't even lived long enough to discover it has a will, and already somebody has chosen for that child, and it's a crack addict. So what I'm saying to you is that these dysfunctions are a result of tainted blood. So the poisonous woman, there's a history. Again, she has tainted blood, obviously. No doubt she's been abused, overlooked. Let me tell you what a lot of people. I'm finna help y'all out. The reason more people are taking their clothes off on social media than ever before, more people are showing their butt, their hips, and some of them are subtle, some of them are blatant, some care and just give you a little tease. Why you want to tease? What's behind that? This twerking generation. There's certain wine in a woman's body. Why does she wear certain things to reveal? It's to get attention. The more you show, the less you feel about yourself. Because a person of value, a person who values their body, they respect their body. The more a person shows, the more a person shows, the less they have. So you can't get attention through intellect because you can barely complete a sentence. So you want to show off what's going to get you the most attention, and it's your shape, it's your body. And why? Your body may be beautiful, you may have a nice shape. Why are you selling yourself so cheap? What's behind that? Now, the poisonous woman, she's showing because it's a part of her drive to get, seek, and control. The poisonous woman is dangerous because her agenda is to lure the man in. Let me go back. Let me go back to the scripture because I think y'all think I made this up. This is around long before I got here. Proverbs 5:5 tells us this. It says, her feet go down to hell, to death. Her steps take hold on hell, meaning this woman ain't got no good in her. I don't care how fine she is, I don't care how well she's shaped. And just because a woman is fine, that doesn't make her poisonous. And just because a woman is not fine, that doesn't make her pure. When we deal with a poisonous woman, we're talking about the intent of her heart. God told, let me tell you how dangerous a poisonous woman is. God told Solomon, who was the wisest man ever outside of Jesus, God told Solomon, you can have any woman you want. He was David's son, so he said you can have whatever woman you want, but the woman in the east, he said, leave them women alone because they're going to taint your heart and pull your heart from God. A poisonous woman has the ability and power to make a man change gods. And I'm about to shock you with this one. Most times, the poisonous woman is not all that cute, but she sucks a mean one. Most times, a poisonous woman is not all that attractive, but she knows where to lick him. She knows where his weakness. Did you not know Samson never slept with Delilah? What was going on? And how in the world was she able to talk him out of his secrets? Well, let's look at Proverbs. I can tell you. Proverbs 3. I'm sorry, Proverbs 5:3 says, "For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb." You know what a honeycomb is, don't you? Okay, so it's sweet. It's sweet to the ears, scintillating to the ears. It sounds good. She looks good. And it says, and her mouth is smoother than oil. She has to have a way with words. Oh, yeah, she got a way with words, and she know how to work her lips. Come on, pick it. I told y'all this was for adults only. I wonder, was Delilah giving Samson head? Had to be something more than just a conversation. So a poisonous woman is willing to do some things that the average woman is not willing to do, because, again, she's seeking to find out where a man's strength is, because she wants to rule and be in control of his strength and his power. Yeah, Lovely Joy say his head was in her lap. Yeah. Yeah. His head was in her lap. It doesn't tell us where her head was. Could have been a 69. I'm gonna wait on y'all to catch up. One of the reasons too, I believe a great deal. I really believe that we're deceived beyond measure, because there are conversations we're not willing to have. Church folks are so funny to me. Church people are funny to me. They don't want to talk about it, but they doing it. Now, don't nobody want to talk about oral sex, but your little bishop's getting head, and it ain't from his wife. Some of them. Oh, pick it. You out here now. Pick it. What you done, Doc? He eating. He ain't eating his wife either. If you don't believe in oral sex, read the Song of Solomon. Now, don't be coming on my live, and now you got to hang up because you got to go push one out. That ain't what we're doing, but we've got to talk about it, because the poisonous woman is willing to do anything and everything to gain control. Who was that cut off John the Baptist's head? Who was that little thought? Y'all know I'm telling the truth. What the little thought name that had John the Baptist beheaded? What's the little tramp name in the Bible? Help me out, somebody. I keep thinking Delilah. It ain't Delilah. Give me a second, I'll tell you. What's the little thought name? Little tramp had John the Baptist beheaded, had the man of God, had his head cut off. What's the little thought name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. How could she have his head cut off? What was she doing? Y'all still there? The little thought, her mom name was Herodias. And she convinced Herod into giving her John's head. Salome. That was the little tramp name. There's still some Salomes in the world. And they use their little snatch to get whatever they want. This is why to this day, one of the most evil, wicked, and demonic things women you could do to your husbands is control them through sex. That's wickedness on a whole. That spirit of Salome and Herodias is all over you. So a poisonous woman has to have control. She has to be in control. And she's willing to do anything to get control. All right. Let's look at Proverbs 7. Let's look at Proverbs 7. I want to show you a few other things. Proverbs 7:24 says, "Hearken unto me, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her path, for she hath cast down many wounded. Yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death." The Bible is telling us, did you not know people have a scent? There's a sin of seduction. And what the Bible is warning men of is don't be inhaling her scent. The moment you get a whiff of that scent, run. Don't go to her house. Don't entertain her, because the moment you begin to buy into the words that flow from her lips, you're going to think they're sweet, and that's how she's going to gain control of your soul. And a lot of men that have been bit by the poisonous woman never recover. They never recover. I look at some of the most powerful men in the world who have failed or fallen to some little snagger-tooth street girl. And then you look at the wife is well put together, and then you look at the little thing he done got caught with, and you're wondering, why in the world would he cheat on his wife with that? Now watch your mind. Because poison doesn't have a look. Poison is in bleach. You drink that, it'll kill you. But if cabbage ain't cooked right in, it become poisonous and kill you too. Because poison doesn't have a look. It's a behavior. So you have to be careful who you let speak in your ear. You have to be careful who you let sext you. Not text, sext. There are some alluring words that are often shared, and the end of those words are destruction. What is the intent? So in the same way, a narcissistic man is dangerous and not good for society, neither is the poisonous woman. So we have to teach our children. We have to teach our sons about the poisonous woman, and we have to teach our daughters against the narcissistic man, because you start having kids, you have a baby from a poisonous woman, that baby's going to have poison in it. And I'm not saying the blood can't deliver and Jesus can't save, but you done tainted that baby's blood. That's why, listen to this. Listen to this. If you, a lot of mixed kids, a great ratio of mixed kids have major dysfunctions when it comes to their identity, because their identity stands in two different cultures. And I know legally, whatever that daddy is, that's what that baby is. But that baby still got both blood. He's got black blood, white blood, Asian blood, whatever. And those are some of the most insecure, beautiful people you ever want to meet. They're beautiful, but insecure, crazy. Suffer from broken identity. They don't know who they are, always changing their mind. There's really no consistency in who they are, and emotionally they're handicapped. They're out of control, but they're so loving. It's not just in mixed kids, it's in full blood white folk, black folk, green folk, yellow folk, because all of us have been poisoned by the stain of sin. How can somebody be so loving and so evil at the same time? Men that beat women and then turn around and cry because they beat them. Well, Negro, you wouldn't be crying if you'd have kept your hands to yourself. What you crying for? Tainted blood. I believe Jesus saves, Jesus delivers. But I do believe that there is a spiritual side, and I also believe there's a clinical side. Clinical side can be treated with medication. The spiritual side can be treated with the blood of Jesus. Y'all got any questions tonight? I didn't play no. Let me put some her on. Get y'all off me, because I see what you're doing out there. My next live, I'm gonna probably be talking about the dangers of oral sex. You get the wrong saliva in your pearl, and fellas, you get the wrong saliva on your Jolly Rancher. Your Jolly Rancher can melt, fellas, and ladies, your pearls can turn green. Better be careful who you let go down on you. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Now I need to take a parenthetical deviation just for a second, because there's something I want to share with you before I conclude this live. I don't want you, okay? Since we out here, we talking about your private parts, ladies. It's nothing worse than you sagging because you got the wrong bra size. All right. Your titties are 12 and your bras are 2. That's not good, and that's not healthy for you. Oh, pick it, that rhymes. Say it again. If your titties are 12 and your bras are 2, that's not the right size for you. But this is a, I'm making light of it, but this is a serious thing. Listen, there's a panties and bra brunch. A lot of health problems have happened because women have the wrong bra size. A lot of people look older than what they are. We don't talk about bras and panties, but there's a conference. The conference is $25. I'm going to put the registration. I'm going to put it on the screen. I think it'll be helpful to you. You ought to sign up, take the class. There are a lot of people embarrassed about. Let me tell you something. You can tell a person that's broken on the inside. They got broken drawers. They holes all. They internally broke. But I guarantee you so polished and plush on the outside. Why is that? Because people can't see your holes. People can't see your holes because they're covered up. I just put the link in the screen in the comments. But this conference is going to be good. I know it's going to be good. Dr. Teresa White is heading it. It's December the 4th, 2021. Sapanas and Bra Brunch. The registration is in the screen, and also you can look at this flyer, take a picture of it if you will. Go to Teresa White's page, or you can go to. I'm just gonna share it on my page now. You can go to Fearless Girls. You can go to Fearless Girls, and you can register for this. Your self-esteem is important, ladies. Your self-esteem is important. You having on the right size underwear. A lot of people can't afford the size that they need because it can be so expensive, especially if the Lord's bless you with the jugs of Judea. And I'm not making fun. I'm just saying, jugs, get it? Jugs. It's what we put milk in, jugs. No, you don't get it? If it was a poor joke, I'm sorry. All right. Y'all praying for me? Okay. So, I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to leave it up so you can see it registered. Your underwear shouldn't have holes in it. And I'm telling you, that stuff says a lot about some of the things that are crawling on the inside of you. Some of us have been in survival mode for so long, we forgot we were there. The right size bras and panties matters.